Okay, so first and foremost, I want to give a shout out to my previous head coach, Scotty Walden. We had a great time at Austin Peay and UTEP, and I learned a lot from those guys. Ultimately, my decision came with wanting to continue to get closer to home. Get closer to home from Georgia originally, so a little bit closer here, and also just to continue to grow my offensive mind. Coach Kidley, I got the opportunity to play for his mentor, Cliff Kingsbury, at Texas Tech when Coach Kidley was working with the quarterbacks. And, it's a lot of familiarity there. So getting this offense, high flying, high scoring offense, man. And, it's just a great offense to be in. And, I love everything about it.
One of the things about the tight end room that has always intrigued me is how much of everybody's position they have to know and understand. Everybody says it, but that's one that actually has to employ it. Has it been challenging for you and in growth to get to learn that high-flying offense?
I love a good challenge. I love to challenge myself, and my biggest thing is, one, I'm a former offensive lineman. So there's a lot of things in the pass game that I necessarily don't know. But when you're that type of guy that's coming into that type of position, you've got to be egoless, you've got to have an open mind, and you got to be ready to learn new things that you're not used to. Fortunately for me, I've been able to say that I've been around some pretty good skill guys, and I like to always consider my guy a big skill, and like to hang out with those guys and make plays and stuff like that. So I've always been intrigued with what goes on out wide, and how they're getting to their route hips, how they're working releases, how they're getting lined up. Those are the type of things that have always gauged my interest. So being able to get into that position, it's been fun to kind of mesh the two worlds. Like I said, former offensive lineman, I know what's going on in the box. But the things out wide is also the things that are very intriguing.
When we think of Coach Kidley's offense, we automatically think receivers, and I think that through this camp we've changed that mindset of where the running backs will fit in and what they can actually do. What can the tight ends do for this offense?
I think the tight ends can provide a safety valve for the offense. I think that they can provide an element of physicality in the pass game and the run game. Just being able to open up, get out wide, and then very next play, hey, we're right there in the core, being able to run the next play, whatever it may be. But with that being said, there's a lot of things that goes with the mentality of it too. You've got to have poise mentally and be able to, all right, this play, I was just out wide at number one. All right, we just went tempo, we're coming back inside. So I think that it's very good to have guys that can do it mentally in this offense. And the good thing about Coach Kidley, at any second we could be in 10 personnel, we could be in 11 personnel, we could be in 12. And previously they've had a lot of success with that tight end room, having a couple of guys that are about to get drafted this year and did a lot of production last year for the offense. So it's a very big role, but I do think that we have the guys that can do it. Just a day-by-day process. We got to continue to stack a brick every day. That's kind of how I like to put it.
All right.
Yeah. So, Coach, obviously you've been over at FCS, BCS. You've seen programs go from the losing mentality to winning programs. So you've seen that now. Just in these past couple of weeks here in spring, are you seeing that mentality of these guys that have the talent and the will to win already?
Absolutely, and I think these guys are hungry to win. Nobody likes losing. Nobody likes losing, and everybody. The amount of work that we put in day by day just to get there and run and be able to play 12 plus games. It's a huge investment, but I do think that the guys have the mindset to go out there and do their job and dominate, and then have that cohesiveness as a team to come together in times of adversity and just being able to have success and make plays. And we also understand it's not always going to be perfect, but it's about, like I said, adversity. How are you responding in those moments? And that's the biggest thing. Like I said, when it comes to winning games, obviously nobody likes to lose, but what are you doing to make sure that we are putting ourselves in position to win? And it's those small details and being hungry to win and hating losing.
And Coach, you played over at Maryland, correct?
Yes.
Opening the season August 30th against your former team. Are you expecting to hear from family and friends a little razzing about that, about playing against your former team?
So, I'm in a group message with all my former teammates from Maryland, man, and they're all going to be at the game. They're all excited, but it's going to be a surreal moment. I haven't been back since I left there, and it's going to be great. I'm excited. I kind of have sidebar conversations with Nonar, because he was also a Terp too. I have sidebar conversations. Hey, August 30th, this is a little bit different for us, So I'm excited. I played for Coach Loxley, so it's going to be a great challenge, and I can't wait. But it's a process. We got to get there first.
You mentioned Nonar. Last year he was in a tight end role with a offensive lineman's projected body. And then he came in this year, and that was the first. There's always one person that you notice really had a transformation, and for me, he was it. Have you seen that same transition for him now that he's moved back to the offensive line as being the former offensive lineman?
Yeah, absolutely. I can't tell you how many guys that are walking around that are almost 6'8", 300 and whatever pounds with the wingspan that he has. So he's done a great job of buying in and putting on the weight. I know he was probably a little under playing the position last year, but making the transition, being able to buy into it. Coach Hamby has done a great job with him. Coach B. Lee in the weight room, the strength staff, they've done an amazing job with him. And just to see a guy like that trying to buy into his full potential and doing what it takes to be great, it's amazing to see because like I said, he has every tool, physically.
Mm-hmm.
These guys that you got in the back here, I believe you have a former connection with Martavius. Can you talk a little bit about, what you're seeing out of him here?
Martavius is a guy that, he came with me from UTEP and got a lot of playing time as a freshman, a lot of 12 personnel stuff, getting in there, getting his face in things. And, the biggest thing for him right now is the transition piece. It's a completely different philosophy of offense in regards to the tight end. So there's a lot more that's on your plate that you've got to be able to put together and be able to, like I mentioned before, being able to line up outside and do those things and then coming right back inside and do those things in there as well. The biggest thing with him is just putting it together, the consistency piece. I've been preaching to my guys, I don't know about you guys, but I've always been told, one of my favorite compliments is, hey, you're a consistent guy. That's a great compliment, but you can also be, there's two sides of that. You want to be on the good side of that. So the consistency piece of it is something that we're working on. All of these guys flash every day, and I pay attention to the small things, the small details, and that's the things I've been talking about. We literally just got done, using my example here is small details. What does it take to drive a car? You got to use gas. All right, the car, the small details, that's the gas. The offensive scheme is the car. Those small details are going to drive that car. So just focusing on those details, we've got to make sure that we continue to grow with those. And Martavius he's buying in, he's learning. It's a process with him.
And also Reed coming over from South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
First connection with him, right? Haven't played against him or any sort of background together.
So it's actually funny. Back when I was at Houston. Me, myself, and our previous staff over there, we actually took our shot at recruiting Reed back then. When he was coming out there, and it's funny when I saw he got in the portal, I reached out and I texted him, sent the message, and Reed McKeska pops up. I'm like, oh snap! I forgot I had this guy's number saved. So it's kind of a bit of a connection there. But it's definitely great to have him here for sure.
Do you see him as being I don't want to say a focal point, but a projected leader in your room?
I do. I think Reed has everything that it takes to step into that role. He's got the presence. He's a big guy, a really big guy. There's a physical presence that comes with being a leader at times. But it's about how you're leading. And that's something that I've been talking to him about early on. Leading isn't necessarily coming in and telling everybody what to do. Leading isn't necessarily coming in and preaching one thing and doing the other. Sometimes you've got to, wrap your arm around this guy and take him separate. Or maybe it does take that for some type of guy, But the overall theme of leading is no matter what happens, you have got to lead by example. Yep. No matter how you choose to go about it, you have to lead by example, no matter what.
Agreed.